What is up, guys? It is Jack, back up in this bitch with 10 Litres Fitness. Today we're talking about the role of genetics in bodybuilding. Okay, and so to cover that, I really want to talk about, how important genetics are for bodybuilding and really how that then affects my mindset and goal setting when it comes to, bodybuilding, okay? So to get into this, how important are genetics when it comes to bodybuilding? You shouldn't need me to tell you that they're obviously huge, right? They play a very big, important role. And that is because, they fundamentally have a hand in just about determining, in everything really when it comes to bodybuilding. Ultimately, they define the limitations for what any individual can and cannot do. Okay, so, you look at the guys who are at the very top of the sport. You've got the Phil Heaths, the guys like Ronnie Coleman in the past. Obviously, they were on, a world of drugs, because they are the best physiques in the world. But the fact of the matter is, even if the drug aside, you gave that same stack or more to any other individual, chances are they'll look nowhere near as good, right? And the results will vary, between each individual, because that's just how it is with genetics. That's the reason that different things work for different people when it comes to bodybuilding. Okay, so just to give an example, me and my training partner Sat, you'll see I'll leave a link to our past training video if you don't know who that is, but last year me and him trained together all the time, right? There's only like a handful of sessions where we didn't actually train together, but what we saw was that despite the fact that we were doing the same shit in the gym, I was, making consistent effort to bulk during that time, whereas he wasn't really bulking or cutting. He ate healthily, his diet wasn't bad, but he wasn't making an outright effort to bulk or cut. Yet what we found was our response to the training was pretty much the same. We both increased by just about the same margin, which is, which tells me that, for me to make gains, all the boxes have to be checked, right? Because I'm not the kind of person who is genetically predisposed to, put on muscle very easily. So to put on muscle for me, all the boxes have to be checked. Caloric surplus, effective training, you name it, all of them. But for Sat, he's a little more gifted than I am when it comes to packing on muscle mass. So despite the fact that he wasn't in an outright caloric surplus and didn't have all those free calories, to pack on mass, he was still able, to gain muscle. However, then what we found on the flip side was when I started cutting, and he's trying to lose weight, what we found was I'm then more genetically, I have better genetics, for losing fat than he does. He struggles more than I do to get lean. That's something that's always come very easy, more easy to me, easier to myself to do that. So, that's the difference between me and Sat, me and my training partner. You see, he's better at packing on the muscle, but I'm better at getting lean. There's a flip side to both of them, effectively. So, obviously, the role that genetics play is going to be huge. It determines what you can and cannot do. When I started out, I thought I was 55 kilograms, but my goal was to be in the region of 85 to 90 kilograms shredded. Okay, and I actually had this goal that when I started university in September of 2013, I had the goal that when I left university, by my final year, which is now, I was going to be the biggest and most shredded guy on campus. I thought, by that time, it's 3 years away, so I've got plenty of time, it's easily doable, I'm just going to work really hard. And by my final year, I'm going to be, the most, shredded, aesthetic dude around, right? That was my goal at that time. I was on that whole Ziz hype. But here we are, all that time later, and I haven't achieved that, right? This guy's coming in their first year. He have more muscle mass and are leaner than I am. That's just and the way that is, 18-year-olds, that have a leg up on me. After all this time, I'm coming up to 21 now. But and guys who don't know better about genetics would say, you know, well, you know, you should have just worked hard, you've been lazy, or you've been stupid with your training. And you know, maybe I could have, you know, worked a little harder, or been, you know, applied a little more of that intelligent effort, right, and ultimately got better results. But at the same time, I realised that that goal I set now was pretty stupid, you know, in line with things, because, you know, I didn't take into account my genetics. I mean, I was 18 at the time, I just got into lifting, I wasn't to know any better, but you got to realise there are certain things that people can and cannot do. Right, so give me all the drugs in the world, I'm not going to look like a Mr. Olympia, you know. Give me, you know, all the time in the world, and I'm probably still not going to be, you know, the biggest, you know, one of the most aesthetic guys around, you know. But this really comes where I'm getting onto the whole thing of how it affects my mindset now. But because although I haven't achieved that goal, I'm still very pleased with my progress in that time. Okay, so yeah, moving on to like, you know, rolling with that, moving on to how, you know, I would recommend you take that information about genetics and apply it to your psyche. Although, you know, you may need to realise that some people, you know, you may never get the physique that you want, right? You may be looking for a cover model physique, but what you need to realise is that maybe your genetics just don't allow for that, right? Even if you do hop on drugs, right? Yeah, that's just the reality of things. So, well, but see, here's the thing. Some people, they hear that and they get disheartened. They think, you know, if you're like me, you know, have a hard time packing on muscle mass, you know, genetically, they get disheartened and say, oh, well, I might as well not bother with it anyway then, because, you know, I'm not cut out for this shit. But yeah, an outlook on things I would encourage you to take is, you know, don't let that, you know, be an obstruction to you becoming the best version of yourself, right? Because the way I think about it is, you know, yes, I may not be, you know, gifted at, you know, putting on muscle, you know, I may not be, you know, genetically gifted with that, and I may never be, you know, one of the bigger, more impressive guys around or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, that's not going to stop me being the best that I can be. Right, I mean, I may never look like, you know, Steve Cook or Jess Side or anything, you know, that's my kind of goal physique, really, you know, a physique competitor type look, but, you know, I acknowledge I'll probably never look like that, even if I, you know, did hop on drugs, but that's not going to stop me being the best that I can be, you know. For me, the idea of, you know, becoming the best version of myself is an exciting one, and, you know, I think it's really interesting thinking about, you know, give it 5 or 6 years time, and you know, if I give it everything I could, how could I look at that time? To me, that's a fascinating idea, you know, a fascinating concept, you know, thinking of, you know, what's the best that I could possibly look, you know. It really fascinates me thinking, you know, considering what are the limitations, the natural limitations of my body, you know. I'd be, you know, really excited about finding that out and ultimately exploring that, you know, because just to see, you know, what's the best that I can achieve, you know, that really excites me, like I say, you know. So, and that's a mindset that I'd encourage more people to have, you know, rather than comparing yourself to others, because you may never ultimately achieve that, but, you know, having it, you know, being the best that you can be, you know, you can achieve that, you know, by definition, which, and that to me is very exciting. But you know, each to their own, right? You know, everyone has their own limitations of what they can and cannot do. Okay, guys, so that's pretty much all I have to say on that today. I hope that's been helpful. Thanks for watching. I've been Jack with 10 Years Fitness, and I'll see you guys in the next one.